Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chi Cultivation and Manipulation. We're going to read from my new book, Chi Cultivation and Manipulation, by me, Adrian Bolio. And today we are going to be talking about creating tulpas. If you're interested in buying a book and supporting the channel, supporting me of course, if you'd like to buy the book, it's on Amazon for $10, Chi Cultivation and Manipulation, as well as my other book, DMT Meditation, for $7. Alright, but let's get into it. Creating tulpas. There are a couple of fundamental mental tricks and focuses that must be mastered when going into meditation. One of the most important tools of visualization is the multidimensional aspects we can give to our mental creations known as tulpas. The three main aspects of a powerful tulpa is its course of action, its feeling within the body or project outward of the body, and the visual aspect that's within the mind. For this example, I will use pineal gland activation. The course of the action refers to what the tulpa is intended on doing, such as activating the pineal gland. The feeling within the body is actually feeling the chi flow from the abdomen up to the pineal gland. The visual aspect in the mind is thinking and forming the visual representation of the pineal gland and its relationship within the body. Combining more and more temperaments to the tulpa or attributes, such as giving the action of a familiar, like a rocket going to the pineal gland from the heart to the head, or another feeling like the rumble of an engine, will have an even greater effect. All this requires mental focus and concentration to focus on each aspect into the fully formed representation to get the chi to flow into the pineal gland. Tulpas are not restricted to the pineal gland because chi will listen to commands, and intention to activate the gland can also be used as intention to move anywhere else. So the tulpa formula that I've created, to make it simple, is a tulpa equals the action plus feeling plus visual. So the tulpa is a mental construct with the action that can be brought to life mentally and fully formed to represent infinite amount of purposes and possibilities. Action is the projected path of action the tulpa is to follow, its purpose, its rules and the restrictions that it obeys by. The feeling is chi's flow's feeling of pressure or liquid that is detected when channeling the tulpa, as well as the feeling the tulpa gives off. The visual is creating the visual representation and physical attributes of the tulpa that will be the main focus to create a fully formed tulpa. For example, as we've discussed, the activation of the pineal gland, which is the tulpa, telling the mind to focus on the middle of the brain, raising the eyes towards the brow. So when you activate your gland, you look towards here like that versus just thinking about it. So you think about the middle as well as you're raising your eyes. The pressure on the gland, liquid to the head, is the feeling. So you're looking for that feeling within your head as you continue to focus and breathe towards it. Plus the pineal gland, the chi movement, and the properties that it holds, the visual. So you have to visualize the action itself manifesting within you. Tulpas are multidimensional, so their existence depends on how far a person is willing to give attention to, creating or destroying the manifestation of the tulpa. Some tulpas can be created for the sole purpose of mental action, and not familiars or physical representation of another world. Some tulpas can be used to project chi outside the body, as well as deducing the body into energetic being. The stretch of a tulpa is limited to the imagination and belief in it, and in doing so, giving restrictions and rules for such an action the tulpa must follow. The more you can manipulate chi with the multidimensional tulpas, the stronger your connection will be. Here are a few examples of different types of tulpas that can be made with and without chi. Creating from scratch an imaginary friend, creating architecture that is 5-dimensional, faster muscle or stronger muscles, pineal gland activation by visualizing it as a target, focusing on different parts of the body, relaxing muscles, retaining information with labels or tricks, extending reach into the universe to send a message, astral projection methods, and feelings. The limit to the amount of variance a tulpa can be created is by the amount of patience and imagination a person has when forming the tulpa. Initially, all mental constructs are infinite impossibilities, but only a finite amount can be applied to the human body easily. Constructing a tulpa might need to be written down or visualized physically before the mind can form a stronger representation. It is meant to represent a change for the body and how it uses chi. It may be better formed or realized after significant chi practice. Tulpas can be applied to the chi in the body to help decide where the chi must go and where it will interact and how it will interact. The start of chi cultivation comes from the abdomen, but the mindset of getting into the chi manipulation starts with tulpas. You can detect chi within the abdomen, but in order for it to work, a tulpa must be created that assists its movement. With proper preparations and practice during meditation, chi detection and chi flow become natural, and learned skill will build upon itself in more advanced levels of chi manipulation. So what this means is, in order for you to fully execute tulpas in your mind that apply to your body, you must be able to detect chi, but then you must be able to move chi with intention. And you want it to have attributes or have a stronger connection to your mind, so you give it a stronger will. The attributes, and the tulpa is essentially visualizing the chi in a greater form. And in doing so, it's helping also reinforce the belief system. You're creating something out of nothing. So when people talk about imagination gone wild, your imagination and the reality around you can seem almost similar, because the imagination within you can interact and make your believability even stronger for certain attributes. So when doing tulpas, know how to apply them, know how to give them attributes, and then once you know how to do that, then you can visualize it within your body, and then you can apply it to chi practice once you learn how to detect chi. When considering how a tulpa must act, its manifestation is quiet, malleable, as it's a product of the mind, and it may take on traits that are not intended. A tulpa created to represent an imaginary friend may take on different color hair or skin, for example, yet you intend later on the color of the hair should be blonde rather than red. So in creating the tulpa, keep in mind that it will manifest itself on its own, and you must give it characteristics that you prefer and want out of it rather than the tulpa doing the work for you. It also brings a level of control and restrictions to your thought forms and strengthens your mind to ward off random noise, voices, intentions, or interrupting feelings of emotions. Tulpas on their own are quite volatile, and if you aren't conforming to your command, they will act sporadically. One of the best tools to fight against these urges is to create a tulpa based on solidly protecting you from outside or inner threats. Some people use faith or believe in God, or simply willpower to overcome and repulse any outside influence that wishes to deter thinking. Creating a tulpa that fights his inner noise or boosts your mental energy is a great tool to use that eventually turns into an on-off switch of control. Take caution really on how tulpas are created and assign restrictions and rules to them to play by. The last thing you want to be is imaginary creation to constantly be on the topic of your mind and be disruptive in your daily schedule. So the word of caution with tulpas is, of course, you have to be in control of what you create in your imagination. So you can let it run wild and have fun with that, but if you want to be practical about it and use it in a way that suits your needs, you need to also have a level of control of it. And the best way to have a level of control over it is to learn how to manipulate what attributes it has, what powers it has, what can you do with it, how do you test it. Is your mind stronger, or is it going to be more susceptible to whatever you create? And then the idea of fighting off noise and spirits and all that other jazz, you can use that same thing as a tulpa. You can have like a guardian that you create yourself that wards off all evil or stops you from being influenced by something else. And it just seems like a rudimentary antivirus or a spiritual cleansing of your mind. But you decide it because you're basically cutting out all the bad negativity that you want influencing you, including the stuff that you cannot control. Remember to adhere to the 3 important core values that make up a tulpa: the action, feeling, and visualization. Creating rules for the tulpa to follow can fall under all 3 categories because of how lucid they can become. A tulpa can receive a tool on visualization, say that's a rusty car, but can have feeling as the car is always sad or bored being rusty. There are multitudes of options to choose from as traits, but the rules of tulpas really guide how each individual action is carried out. The rusty car cannot move no matter what, or has no face and it's just a car. This is, of course, just put on the whole on the mind would like the tulpa to do versus what it should be done. This is why it's important to keep intentions bright for the action and allow control to be a big part of what happens. People can have violent tendencies towards certain crimes because people carry them out and it's rational in their mind, but putting a restriction and a set of rules to stop from causing violence to another is an even greater achievement of control. Practice holding back, conserving, being less impulsive to buy or defend quickly, and just observe, listen, and change without needing to act. Mentally taking all the abuse can be frustrating at first, but over time it turns out an even greater willpower will with power to restrict oneself. It's another form of karma debt because taking abuse and knowing that everything is going to be alright and the end results will kindle willpower, which creates chi. The body may restrict the pain and mentally will be frustrating, but the spirit will lavish it in greater power. All this control make every tulpa just as strong against other influences and reinforce your own restrictions on tulpas to create because you lived your improvement and succeeded in being less impulsive. For the extent of most practices covered in the book, tulpas can be made and be focused on how to interact with the body. They may be given other visual representations to help the chi move or interact with the body, but this comes with practice and adding attributes to chi when applying them during meditation. The focus of the book is on how to cultivate and manipulate your own generated chi. The meditation is the first step in getting the mind open up to allow chi to be manipulated easier. So with the last two passages, it's to create a stronger mind in handling mental attributes that you create for yourself. How do you perceive the world, not interact, but observe so that you can learn from it and take everything in. And then from there, you figure out what's the best course of action, rather than be sporadic and try to fight it with emotion or try to figure out what's going on firsthand. The best way to do it is simply to endure it. And this will make the soul stronger, and this will make your willpower stronger. This allows you to have more control over your actions, and over time this allows you to be in complete control of what you want to express. Anyway, today that was Creating Tulpas from the Chi Cultivation and Manipulation book. If you want it, it's on Amazon for $10 if you want to support this channel. Anyway, thank you guys very much for seeing me, and peace out. I'll see you next time.